Welcome to the Ascend Your Success podcast. Whether you're just starting out or are a veteran looking to grow your business, you're in the right place. Join us to learn how to achieve financial freedom while working and living life on your own terms. Hear valuable insights, strategies, and interviews with successful entrepreneurs. Get ready to achieve the success you've always dreamed of. Ready? Let's go.
What's going on, guys? My name is Wyatt Reed, and this is the Ascend Your Success podcast. And today I get to interview my friend, Evan McEwen. Evan, man, I appreciate you being on. We've kind of, before I let him introduce himself, we've known each other since the beginning, essentially, of our real estate journeys. He was in it a little bit before me, but man, you've always been there for me. Anytime I needed anything, you've always answered the phone. And dude, I just want to tell you how much I really, really appreciate you and appreciate you being here. So just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and how you got started.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you, man. Thanks for those kind words. It seems like forever ago, but also like yesterday.
Right.
When you're in real estate, stuff goes by fast, but also slow. But yeah, a little bit about me. So I'm Evan McEwen, born and raised Huntsville, Alabama. I don't know if you want my whole life journey or how I got into real estate or whatnot, but
yeah, tell us pre-real estate. What were you doing pre-real estate?
Okay. So I was a master mechanic, or a technician rather, for Acura and Honda. Went through the ranks pretty quickly. Decided to go back to school because they told me there'd never be another $100,000 a year technician there. So I went back to school, remembered why I didn't like school, just regurgitating information. We kind of stumbled into real estate. So one of our friends, they're like, hey, there's this seminar we can go to. And I'm like, look, if I can fix a car, I can fix a house. Like, it's just a system of systems, or at least I know how to identify what's wrong with the house. So yeah, we joined that group. It was Fortune Builders at the time, and we've invested a lot into our education, so over the years, but that was our first leap into it, and that's how we got started. It probably took us 5-6 months to get a deal, and we bought it off the MLS. Didn't understand marketing, didn't know how to run a business, didn't know much about real estate other than I want a deal and I want it now. You got that burning fire to get a deal. I don't even remember the exact numbers of it, but it didn't go well. And then I think we bought it for like 70, 80K. We put way too much in it, 40, 50, and then had some issues with some partners. Partners got pushed out. One of our other partners took the asset from us or made us sign a quitclaim deed, and then she couldn't sell it. And it was an interesting ordeal.
That's crazy for your first deal, like how that went. Like, I mean, we'll get into mine and yours, which was one of my first deals, but which was also pretty crazy. But we did make some money on it. But
that's good.
That's pretty crazy for your first deal. So no Fortune Builders, I've heard of them. I'm curious, like, what were you focused on, like, as far as how to find deals at that time?
So at that time, we were just testing the waters. So we were building relationships with other not wholesalers, but realtors, and we would go to local meetup groups and talk to other people that were doing what we wanted to do. Eventually started talking to wholesalers, but we did like a small direct mail campaign, and I'll be honest, I got scared to like pick up the phone when we actually started getting people calling us. So direct mail was our actual first marketing piece, and then we started really focusing in on like SEO and website development. So like I hired an SEO person, and they like helped me rank up our website, and so that was like the next bit that we started working on. And I really want to say that was it. Like, we didn't do any like ads or anything like that, like PPC ads. Our first direct mail campaign, like, we printed off all of our labels and hand wrote all the notes ourselves. And I was like, we just need to just hire somebody to do this.
Dude, I had the same experience. So, for me, I started off finding wholesalers who would, essentially just send me leads. But I got to where I knew that I needed to do some type of paid marketing. And at the time I had PropStream. That was probably the only expense that I had in the business, and they do postcards, but you got to do it all yourself. You create the postcard, you put all the information on it, everything like that. And I think I sent out like 1,600 to 2,000 postcards, and I was sitting at work one day and my phone just started blowing up, and I got people cussing me out. I didn't know how to talk to sellers. I didn't know what to ask them, talk to them about, anything like that. And I didn't get a single deal off of it. And after that first campaign, I just made that decision. If I was going to do this again, I was going to, number one, I had to learn sales better. But number two, I was going to let somebody else handle all that for me. So, same experience, man. It's crazy, but
That is crazy. I
So
think
you-
everybody goes through those things. Like, it's like you're fearful of what may come, and then once you get it, like you don't understand like all the stuff that comes with it.
I got cussed out by this guy. This is not for me. I don't like this, and I'm just like, man, this isn't for you then.
Yeah, if you can't roll that off. I just had a caller just before we got on here, and they were saying I was harassing them because I sent them one direct mail piece. I was like, look, I'll put you on my do not mail list, but like you got to talk to all the other people that send you mail too.
Yeah, and that's something else people don't understand is once you send one postcard, you're just that one big company that everybody thinks that's sending them postcards. So they think you're a part of all of those postcards they get. But so fast forwarding a little bit, me and you met at a real estate event, and we kind of hit it off really well. We became friends, me, you, and another guy. And one of my first deals that I got that was direct to seller, honestly, I don't even remember where it came from. Oh, it was from a friend that I worked with. He knew her, and I didn't know what to do, so I called you because to me, you were the guy to go to. You know, you were wholesaling, right? I even had a mentor, and I still felt the need to come to you, and I have that too now as a mentor. Like I have students that are doing deals together, and I'm like, that's awesome. I love that. Like I love how awesome that community. But yeah, so I came to you with it, and I'm like, let's go check this thing out. And it was essentially a hoarder house, right? It was
the worst one we've ever seen.
We had to pull ourselves up on the trash with a rope that was hanging from the front door. Like, and I was
like 4 feet of trash.
yeah. I've still got a picture somewhere. I may post it with this when it comes out, but. Of the front door and all the trash on it. I just remember thinking when we got there, because I got there a little bit before you. Like I remember this whole thing like it was just yesterday, because it was a great and a terrible experience all the way around. So I was like, "There's no way I'm going in there," because you could smell it from the road. There's no way I'm going in there. And you got there and like without thought just crawled up in there, and I was like, "Okay, I'm going in too."
I gotta see what's in there, man.
That's it. Another thing, like once we got out, you offered her, I think, $500, and I just remember being mind blown by that, because it was like essentially it would pay her taxes, and that's it, right? And she's of course first she said there's no way at all that she could do that, and then I think less than a month later she called back and said if you could do $750, I'll do it, and I was at work. And so I told my boss, "Hey, I feel like I'm getting sick. I need to go home.
Sure.
Let me go home." So I call Evan after I leave, and I'm like, "We got to get here because this lady's saying $750. That's so crazy to think of that." But she ended up signing. We sat in the car. It was a hot summer day. We sat in the car with the air conditioner going, and we went through line by line that entire contract. I remember you even saying this is a gold nugget for you other guys. I don't know if you still do this or not, but I'm sure you do. But especially when you're talking to someone that you're not 100% sure that they're understanding what this contract is saying, but they're continuing to go along with it. Getting them to initial the paragraphs like that we go through, and we say, hey, this is exactly what this means. This is what we're going to go through initially.
And we had a witness too. So
yes, yeah. One of her friends was there too the whole time. I think she was in the back seat too. And so it was great. I thought that it was going to be a great go, and it was. But essentially you let me handle it because it was my first deal. You just kind of
The
watched over it,
dispo.
held my hand. Yeah. So I remember I think we came back to your house and we discussed what price we put it out, which looking back and every time we talk about it now was way too low. Really, we should have just kept it,
Yeah, we
but
probably, yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, so we put it out for I think it was $5,000.
Yeah,
And
5 or 10, one of the two. Maybe it
yeah,
was
so
5.
yeah, because I think we walked away with a check a piece about $1,900. I think it was
Okay, so
five
it's
grand.
5,000, yeah.
And dude, I had probably 200, 300 messages on Craigslist and Facebook about it, and it was gone within that probably first hour. And so
I wonder if they ever
afterwards,
did anything to that property, man, to
I
be
don't know.
honest.
I drive by some of my properties every now and then, the old ones that like when I first got started, and I'll just like take the family out and be like, "Hey, we that was one of our first houses," you know. And but I haven't drove back through that one. I'm assuming they probably cleaned that thing out, but yeah. So just to finish it up, we get to closing, and we actually she was having car troubles, so we came and picked her up. We had the GPS running, even though you knew where we were going. We had the GPS running because I didn't know Huntsville that well at the time, and I think she was giving us directions from the back seat. We pulled into a couple of like malls and empty parking lots, and then so we get to closing and we get all the paperwork signed. And after everything's said and done, signed, the buyer had already came and signed their part before us. She requested a little bit more time to move out, and like I remember us looking at each other like, "There's nothing we can do. You signed it, and we've already assigned it. It's gone. It's not ours." And just the amount of cussing we got after that, and just how dirty we were, and blah 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 blah. Even though she didn't realize, what the whole process was, I guess, or just didn't understand it. But it was to me when I first came into real estate, I didn't want to do wholesaling because I didn't understand it. And having it been my first wholesale deal really affirmed that. It was like, I don't like this. I don't like, yeah, it's cool. I just picked up a check for almost 2 grand, but I think when her friend called me, I think I had almost gotten into tears, and you
Well,
were
she
on
was
your way to,
threatening to sue us too, and I was like,
yeah,
"Where does she?"
yeah,
Like, I'm on the way to the beach, and
yeah.
she's like, "You," and she's talking about
I'm
suing us.
freaking out because I've never been threatened to be sued before. But you were like, "Hey, dude, look, just to let you know, like you don't have to do it," because it was over phone. She didn't do it in person. Her friend called and it was over phone. He's like, "This deal is done. Like the paperwork's been signed. You done everything 100% legit and properly. You can legitimately block her now, and you don't have to deal with it anymore." And so obviously I did, and it was just it was an interesting first wholesale deal, to say the least. But
Trial by fire, man. Trial by fire.
yeah,
I didn't
but I
expect
mean,
it to go crazy like it did, but she was fine and cooperative and like wanted to work with us. I mean, she I know she had stuff going on. The city was hounding her. They were threatening to take the property from her, and like there's all this other compounding stuff. So, I mean, we just got all of that unleashed on us essentially.
yeah, but when you get around people who are doing bigger and better things than you start to realize, okay, this is how it is, and like, no, you don't have to call yourself a wholesaler just because you're a well-rounded investor, right? I start to understand what that business is supposed to look like, right? You're supposed to be a well-rounded investor who knows how to utilize multiple exit strategies because that's going to be better for you. So, like, that was 5 years ago almost now. So, like, fast forward in time, what have you changed? Like, what has your business changed to and since then, and what does that look like for you? Because I know you've changed it a couple of times, and so have I, right? And anybody listening, if you're going to get into it, you got to keep an open mind because we essentially just problem solve and pivot with whatever comes our way, right? So what does that look like now versus back then?
Things have changed several times. I think there's like 3 or 4 versions of our business or my business. And it all started from the very beginning when we had other partners. But the first deal I did by myself was very profitable. And like we made like 20K on the flip, Rachel and I was like, I'm all in. That's what got us to quit alongside our daughter being born. Um, and so like that was my motivation to keep going. So early on, I was like, look, if I just do 4 deals a year, making 25K, like I'm good. I'll quit my job. Like I'm happy. And so then it was that mindset of like, let me just find the next deal. Let me just find the next flip. And it was a one-man show, right? I was barely doing any marketing, maybe bandit signs because it wasn't like you couldn't get fined for it back then. Now you can. And then networking and talking to realtors. So that's how I was getting my leads. The first deal was a bandit, like the first deal we did, Rachel and I, was a bandit sign deal. And I think once we got into those deals, I realized like, we're spending a lot of money. Yeah, we've got financing. Yeah, we've got this deal, but we're spending money. We don't have money coming in. And so that's when I stumbled upon wholesaling out of necessity. So then I picked up wholesaling as another exit strategy because like then we started doing TV commercials. And it just kind of evolved from there. So early on, it was like fix and flip only. Then it was like fix and flip and wholesale so I could complete my fix and flips. And then it became, well, dang, like we could make a business out of wholesaling and still do some fix and flips on the side. So then we went and we got some other mentors and they taught us how to really grow and scale a wholesaling operation. So that was like our other version of the business. So we grew and scale. Like we had 4 acquisition managers at one time, 9 cold callers. I'm talking $20,000-$30,000 of payroll a month, $30,000-$40,000 in marketing, and we're doing 150K a month. So we scaled it that high, and we're still doing flips and stuff like that. But then when the market shifted and like when my wife became pregnant with my son Hendrix, like I started just reevaluating what I wanted to do in my life and my business. And, with Caleb and Rachel. And so, I told the team, this was last July. I was like, look, if we can't hit X amount this month by this time, I'm shutting it down. Everybody's done. And, because I had put in years of sweat and effort and resources and money and time to build it where it was. And if they didn't care, I know some of them did. But if the mindset was we can't do that, then nobody needs to be here. Because that's not my mindset. Like I'm gonna do it, like with or without y'all, right? If my urgency is higher than yours, like I think there's an issue. Like we need to be the same amount of urgency.
Right.
So now, since then, we've, we're picking up, 1 or 2 properties a month to flip. We're still picking up properties to, do rentals on, we bought an apartment complex into 2022. So my focus now is really just on doing what I can to provide for my family, but also my legacy. And to be able to spend more time with them, because I was super stressed for those couple of years that we were scaling our business. Like I was stressed all the time, man. Like it was just this constant weight of stress. And yeah, the money was great, but I didn't see my family as much as I wanted to, and it put a strain on my wife and I's marriage because we felt like we were just business partners. And so I had to change some stuff. And that's when, when all that came to a head and all that happened at once, and we were battling lawsuits and stuff like that too at the time.
Yeah.
So it's just stressful, man. So now I can say like, I do love real estate. I love helping people out. Like I'm good at acquisitions. we're good at flipping properties. Like, I don't know, let's just stick to what we're good at and live life.
I agree. I think we've had this conversation before as well. And when we got up to the 6 figures a month realm, we were busting our butts to do it. And we didn't have as many employees, but we had a lot of overhead. And it was the most stressful time of my life. And we were having issues at home, we were having issues with partners, we were having issues pulling from projects to pay for other projects and never, like you said, we made a lot of money, but who knows where the heck that went, It was like a dark,
other people.
yeah, it was like a dark hole that just sucked all the money out. It just kept on rolling, and we hit a wall, and we were like, we can't just keep doing this. So that's when we turned to the seller financing game, and I think you guys had turned to that too. And like it was a complete game changer. Once our portfolio, was where it needed to be, it was a complete. You can't tell us anything anymore. Like, no, we're not. We don't have offices anymore. We don't have employees anymore. I mean, we do have employees, but most of them can be virtual. But we're living a great life, and that money's continuing to come in every single day. And then now I can focus on helping others, do that same thing, and taking the lessons that me and you have learned and saying, hey, maybe you should not, everybody always says scale. It's, whatever. But hey, here's this other option that you can do to not have to go through what me and Evan have gone through, right? But at the same time, sometimes I sit back and I think, because I see them go through some stuff, or I see something happen and they just completely freak out or not want to do it. And I think a little piece of that was that made us who we are,
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't have to go through it, then they may be a little softer, not to be a butthole about it, but we've been made hard over the years of what we've done and put ourselves through. And, obviously we don't want to see others go through that, but at the same time that makes others softer, so
Not everybody's built, everybody has a certain amount of capacity, and not everybody has either attained that level of capacity you need to sustain in order to run a business like that or have operations. But also, like, you also need to focus on, like, why don't you just get the business healthy, very profitable where you want it, and then scale a healthier, profitable business? Because what I look back and learn, and what I look back and what I learned is, like, our business was doing well, it was doing good, but it wasn't great. We were doing 4x ROI, so, like, if we spent 20,000, we get 100,000 or 80,000. So, some other businesses are doing 6 and 8. And so it's if you're going to scale, you want to make sure you scale a healthy business, a very profitable business.
So that brings me to my next question, that I've been wanting to ask you anyways, was I battle with this all the time in the back of my mind of, man, I could flip that light switch and I know I could make it better. I could do it differently, but then I always pull myself back and I'm like, is it worth what you were going through at the time? Even though you can do it better, was it worth it to, where you're at today, spending, maybe 5 hours a day working, maybe, if you can call it working, and then hanging out with your family for the rest of it, going and traveling. We've been on like 6 or 7 trips this year. Like, is it worth, giving that up? But I'm just curious, have you dealt with that in the back of your head? Have you thought about going back to that?
I mean, I love the grind. I love a grind. I'll put it that way. So you find your grind and you have a passion for it. I mean, if I were to rebuild it, I don't think I would. I mean, I don't know if I would do exactly everything the same. Obviously, I would take the lessons that I've learned and try to scale what I could. But ultimately, I'm okay with doing 2 or 3 deals a month.
Yep.
Ideally, I'm okay doing that, right? I don't have this need to prove myself to anybody.
Right.
I've already proven it to myself. And so if anything, I want to do it for myself and for my family. But I don't want to kill myself to be able to do those things and then my family suffer for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because stress and anxiety, all that stuff, like, that's stuff that will kill young individuals like ourselves. Like, people dying of heart attacks and strokes and stuff like that in their 30s and 40s and early 20s. It's anxiety, stress, and of course there's a combination of other things, but that's what it is. And I don't want to kill myself. Like,
right, for sure.
So I don't know if that answers your question in detail, but that's just my feeling right now.
Yeah, no, that's what I always go back to, and you know, like I said, I have those urges every now and then, especially when you're going to these like events and you're hanging out with people who are doing it, which, you know, in itself, you don't know everything that's going on in their lives, and when you start to hang out with them, you see some of those things, but you know, the picture that they're painting is a pretty cool picture, and you know, well, if you can do it, then I know I can do it, and been there, done that, and stuff like that. So yeah, no, I'm in the same boat as you as well. I was just curious what your thoughts were on that. But so we're coming up on time, and it seems like we've only been talking for a couple of seconds. I know there's a crap ton more we can talk about, but most of the people that are going to be listening to this are brand new, obviously, thinking about getting into real estate. What is some advice that you can give these guys after everything you've been through, we've been through? Like, what is some things that you can say, hey, if I would have known this, I would have done this sooner?
But yeah, definitely network. Get to know other people that are doing it, and get like try to be their friend, right? And what I mean that is like build a relationship with them. Don't just go in there and start interviewing them for XYZ. Like you just need to build a relationship with individuals, because typically anybody that I've come into in this space has always wanted to help and share others, because they know this is not the easiest business. This is like by far the it's the opposite of what normal people or typical people do for work. So definitely you want to surround yourself with other individuals, other like-minded that are doing the same thing. I mean, I think that's just the biggest thing is that, because you never know, these people could be your partners, they could be your deal funders or lenders. You know, you could do joint ventures with them. You know, they could provide you deals. You know, you could provide them deals. So like, there's a lot of different avenues how you can help people just by networking with people in this environment. Other thing is just stay resilient, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know that's one of our brand names or whatever, but we mean it. Like you just need to, you know, get into your own zone and stay in your own zone. Stay in one lane and work on that lane until you're good or great at it. And then look at other stuff. You know, don't get shiny object syndrome. Like there's this person's doing this person's doing that, like what you were talking about, this person's doing this. Just find out what you're good at and stick to that lane until you're great at it, and then start adding stuff.
Yeah, 100%. That is definitely one thing that I wished I would have done when I first started, because I mean, I don't remember if we had any of these conversations, but I had so many ideas and so many things that I wanted to do, and that really held me back from being great, you know, from the very, very beginning. But yeah, we finally figured it out though, you know, along the way. It's good to have people also in your group, exactly what you were saying, that kind of like are rocks for you, that are like, hey, Goober, that's calm down.
Yeah, chill out.
They pull you back, you know. You can do that later. Write it in a book, and then, you know, put that book on a shelf for later. But yeah, man, I love it. A lot of good stuff. And all right, well, Evan, how can people get a hold of you? I know you have a lot of knowledge that you can help people out with, and I'm sure after hearing this, they're going to want to know more about you. So, how can we reach out to you and talk to you?
Yeah, just social. You know, you can reach out to Wyatt. I prefer text.
We'll put all your social medias on the notes and on the comments and everything like that, so they'll have it to be able to go to and check you out. But dude, I really appreciate you coming in, sharing some of your wisdom, and some of our old stories brought back some good memories. I know we always say this every time we talk. We're always very busy, but we do need to get back together, like, soon.
For sure,
So,
yeah. Like I said, I missed last meeting, double booked, but I'll be there next time.
it's all good, man. Well, tell the family I said hey, and man, just thank you again for being on.
All right, well, I appreciate it, brother.
Yes, sir. Hey guys, if you heard anything that you liked in this, do me a favor, like, share, comment, rate, do whatever you can do on whatever platform you're listening to right now. But if you heard something and you're like, man, that's really interesting, I'm interested in learning more about getting into real estate, just go to ascendyoursuccess.com. I look through all of those applications. I call you personally and talk to you. So let's just have a conversation about it. If not, I'll see you on the next one.